The views expressed, opinions given, and any communication made between the hosts and guests of What Are You Afraid of Horror and Paranormal Show do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of Para-X Radio, EMC Network, or all services that play this show. The hosts and services are not responsible for the actions of their guests, and the original rights of all intellectual property is retained by the creator, and all work is used with either permission or Creative Commons license. The show is for entertainment purposes only. I'm horror author T. Fox Dunham.
And I'm horror author and filmmaker Phil Thomas.
And tonight we're asking you,
what are you afraid of? Philadelphia's horror home with hosts T. Fox Dunham and Phil Thomas. A little closer. Get in range. Ho, ho, ho! Fire! Die, Santa, die! Christmas belongs to the Krampus this year.
Are you the spirit whose coming was foretold to me?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay. Well, would you like a cup of tea?
Sure.
Okay, cup of tea.
I prefer hot chocolate.
Hot chocolate, I know.
Yes.
It's that time of year.
Yes.
But it is that time of year.
It is definitely that time of year. For hot chocolate, eggnog.
Eggnog. Oh, wonderful. I was thinking about doing an actual eggnog this year. Like,
okay.
you know, actually making it from scratch. And
Nice.
So, because I think the 23rd, where everyone's going to come over, we're going to have a D&D game, and I'll cook and everything. If I'm well enough, of course. I think for the D&D game, we're going to do a big bowl of either hot buttered rum or like a hot toddy punch.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that.
Nice.
It'd be fun, like rum and vodka and cinnamon and cloves and hot butter, and you know, you make a nice big vat of it. And
That sounds delicious.
but we're back with episode 104, Holiday Horror Noir.
That's right.
It's a good one. We were away for a little while.
Yeah.
We ended on episode 103 about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Because I got sick.
Yeah, you got real sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were down and out.
Bloody pneumonia.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
But for our fans, we're back. We'll be back now, and then we'll be back next week before Christmas.
That's right.
And we had to delay a couple of our guests till 2019. We had Steve LaChance coming on to talk about his new book about the original Exorcist story behind the movie. The kid.
All right.
And we had another guy coming on to talk about the legend of the Jersey Devil. And it's all been moved. They're on standby.
Yeah.
They're waiting to go.
They understand. You had some pretty pressing medical issues.
It kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But for our Pararex fans, we're back.
Yes, we're back.
I'm T. Fox Dunham.
I'm Phil Thomas.
We've got a cool show.
We do.
Holiday Horror Noir, episode 104. We've got a ghost story from Todd Keisling. This happened to him when him and his wife lived in an apartment on 146 West High Street. And some really spooky but non-threatening stuff happened.
Right.
And I read this story for you guys. And then we're going to end the show with a noir story from Andy Rausch called Santa's Little Helper. He did for the show because we are going to be in an anthology, all of us together. Andy Rausch, Mark Slade, me, Henry Roy,
Nice.
and Joe Lansdale's going to be in it.
Okay, cool. Nice.
Plus one of the producers of Night of the Living Dead. Russo's in with us. And that's going to be coming out in the next few months. In fact, over the next few shows, we're going to be doing small interviews and featuring segments from the book.
Nice.
You know, there's horror in it too.
Oh, yes, definitely.
So I was really excited to be in that one.
Nice.
And I'm happy to say my zombie pizza story got into the Pizza Horror Anthology from Max Booth.
Oh, did it? Nice.
David Keaton over at PMMP, Perpetual Motion Machine Publishing. Remember I was working on it?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
A mobster who had a food fetish at the end of the world when zombies were coming back. He owned a pizza parlor.
That's right.
And he decided he wanted to go out in a blaze of sexual glory as a pizza.
Oh, God, that's great.
I think I wrote him back and said, "Thank you, Max. We are all sick people." It's cool to be back.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You enjoying your cookie?
Oh yeah, this cookie's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to put the recipe up online.
You made this from scratch, right?
Yeah, yesterday, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't make everything from scratch.
Or close, though. Right?
Yeah, well, there was some scratch. Yeah, I made everything was components.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't harvest the chocolate myself.
Right.
And I didn't grow the oats. So, this is What Are You Afraid of? Horror and Paranormal Show. Episode 104, Holiday Horror and Noir on Para-X Radio at Friday nights at 9 p.m. at Eastern Standard Time. You can find us on all major podcast services. And you go over to the website at www.whatayouafraidofpodcast.com for more information, for information about our guests, for our archive of ghost stories, for articles and interviews. We'll be posting interviews from the newer authors. Mm-hmm. Now, we're going to start, as we like to do, with a ghost story from author Todd Keisling. This is 146 West High Street on What Are You Afraid of? Horror and Paranormal Show. 146 West High Street. A true ghost story written and experienced by horror author Todd Keisling. Read by T. Fox Dunham. My wife and I lived in an apartment for close to 9 years, and during that time we experienced several unexplainable occurrences. The building itself dates back to the mid-1700s, as does most of the town we live in. Next door is an old tavern that still functions to this day, and its claim to fame is that George Washington slept there. That's how old some of these buildings are, and for a time, we lived in one of them. Most of what happened to us happened in the first couple of months after we moved in. The faucets would turn themselves on at full blast on separate occasions, first the kitchen, later the bathroom. The kitchen was a hot spot. Once the oven turned itself on, a few times we'd arrive home from work and find all the cabinet doors standing open. One time my wife arrived home and found the chairs were pulled away from our table and turned to face one another. Another time I reached for a glass and watched it slide away from my hand. In our living room, we came home to find a stack of framed photographs carefully arranged on the floor. My wife inadvertently recorded an EVP while filming snowfall from our window. A voice said,
"I'm here."
Unfortunately, we lost the recording in a hard drive crash. I saw a keyboard launch itself off my wife's desk. It didn't just fall, it was pushed. And I caught a glimpse of a man in colonial dress standing at the top of the stairs. It was late and I was up writing, and I had that feeling of eyes on the back of my neck. I turned, and there he was. I shot out of my chair, ran into the hallway, and there was no one there. I once found a pair of small handprints. It appeared on one of our bedroom doors, far too small to belong to our son. Perhaps the most unsettling encounter happened early one morning, and I'm not entirely sure it was just a dream. I woke up and found 4 dark figures standing in my bedroom. 2 children, 2 adults. One of the adults, a woman, stood in the corner, and she was angry, visibly shaking, clenching her teeth, and glaring at me. The 2 children stood at the foot of the bed, peeking over the edge, laughing to one another, and the other adult, a man, crouched next to me and spoke, but I couldn't understand what he was saying. The one thing I remember most clearly was their eyes. They were all blue. I've since used that detail in a number of stories of mine, because it was so stark and different and creepy. As I said with that last one, I'm not sure if it was a dream or not. All of this happened in the first few months, but over a period of 9 years, little things happened from time to time that reminded us that something lived there with us. Footsteps in the hall, knocks on the doors and walls, items that went missing, and then would reappear in weird places, and so on. Through all of this, we never felt threatened by anything. It was more startling than anything else, and we simply learned to live with it. Todd Keisling is the author of Life Transparent, The Liminal Man, and the critically acclaimed novella, The Final Reconciliation. His most recent releases are The Smile Factory and the horror collection Ugly Little Things Collected Horrors, available now from Crystal Lake Publishing. He lives somewhere in the wilds of Pennsylvania with his family, where he is at work on his next novel, Share His Dread. Twitter, @Todd_Keisling. Instagram, @Todd Keisling. Website, www.toddkeisling.com. Find more information about Todd Keisling and his work at our website at www.whatayouafraidofpodcast.com. Thank you, Todd.
146 West High Street. A true ghost story written and experienced by horror author Todd Keisling. 146 West High Street. A true ghost story written and experienced by horror author Todd Keisling. 146 West High Street. A true ghost story written and experienced by horror author Todd Keisling. 146 West High Street. A true ghost story written and experienced by horror author Todd Keisling. 146 West High Street. A true ghost story written and experienced by horror author Todd Keisling. 146 West High Street. A true ghost story written and experienced by horror author Todd Keisling. 146 West High Street. A true ghost story written and experienced by horror author Todd Keisling. 146 West High Street. A true ghost
What Are You Afraid Of?
I'm Tim Wagner, Bram Stoker award-winning author.
Hashtag Grave Girls.
This is Katrina Weidman of Destination America's Paranormal Lockdown.
This is Jim Chambers. I'm the author of The Engines of Sacrifice.
This is Jasper Barr, award-winning author of The Final Cut.
And you're listening to What Are You Afraid Of?
What Are You Afraid Of?
To What Are You Afraid Of?
What are you afraid of?
Love it. Fantoxic, please. Fantoxic.
Number 12 on Beat Spot's Top 30 Horror Podcast. The Witching Hour.
Mercy, a new horror medical thriller from author T. Fox Dunham, published by Bloodbound Books. Based on the author's horrific battle with a rare form of lymphoma that involved intense chemotherapy and radiation, Fox turns the horror of his experience into terror on the page.
William Saint is dying of cancer. On most days, death seems like a humane alternative to the treatment. Stricken with fever, William is rushed to Mercy, notorious as a place to send the sickest of the poor and uninsured to be forgotten, and finds the hospital in even worse condition than his previous visit.
Willie's memories faded. He grabbed his sack head of the scarecrow, picking at the exposed chicken wire to hold them in. However, the memories fell out of the holes in his face. They wormed and crawled from the leather flesh and the old clothing of the scarecrow, then squirmed and wiggled down his body.
The grounds are unkempt, the foundation is cracking, and like the wild mushrooms sprouting from the fissures of decay around it, something is growing inside the hospital. Something dark.
Fangoria gives Mercy 3.5 out of 4 skulls. Dunham has channeled his many brushes with the other side into the exquisitely rendered, lyrical, supernatural hospital thriller Mercy.
It's feeding on the sickness and sustaining itself on the staff, changing them, and now it wants Willie.
Come now, Mr. Saint. Just a little more of that sweet milk. So salty and so good. You won't miss it. And we ever do so like our delicacies here at Mercy Hospital.
Part medical horror, part supernatural suspense, Mercy is a hard-hitting fever dream of a novel. I enjoyed the hell out of it. Tim Wagner, author of The Way of All Flesh and Eat the Night. Available from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and bookstores everywhere in both print and digital versions.
Life is an addiction.
Let go. Let it all burn.
On January 17th at Otto's Shrunken Head, join acclaimed New York City authors Karen Huler, John C. Foster, and Nicholas Kaufman for a night of thrills, chills, and astonishment as they read from their new novels. Come for the amazing stories, stay for the glamorous prizes. Karen Huler is the author of The Inner City, In Search of Lost Time, and Other Places. John C. Foster is the author of Mr. White, Night Roads, and The Isle. Nicholas Kaufman is the author of Dying Is My Business, In the Shadow of the Axe, and 100 Fathoms Below. Thursday, January 17th from 7 to 9 p.m. at Otto's Shrunken Head in the East Village, located at 584 East 14th Street between Avenue A and Avenue B. Check out their website for more information at ottoshrunkenhead.com.
Great little ghost story, very classic ghost story from Todd Keisling. Happened to him and his wife when they were younger.
Nice.
It sounded like it was in a very old building, and there was knocking on the walls. He would see shadow figures. He would walk in and find all the chairs pulled together or like stuff organized. You know, very classic stuff.
Yeah.
The ghosts were trying to let them know they were there.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what a lot of our ghost stories are about. Our ghosts that are basically trying to communicate and say, I'm here.
Yeah, we can hear you or see you. So.
Right. But then they have to leave little signs over there. They're trying to communicate something.
Yeah, right.
And I mean, you can't just move a box. They organize them into patterns so you can see something of intelligence did this.
Yeah, that's neat.
Well, thank you, Todd, for that wonderful story.
Yes,
Todd will be coming on the show eventually.
Yeah, he will.
And he was over with us at Fort Mifflin.
That's right.
Doing a great, his story was wonderful.
Yeah.
And he read it really well.
That was great.
So, when you think about Christmas, you don't really think about ghost stories and horror, except for, of course, the classic Charles Dickens,
right.
A Christmas Carol.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, ghost stories and horror are a significant part of Christmas, and they're trying to
yes, it is.
Bring back a lot of the Victorian ghost stories that associate with Christmas.
I read somewhere that was one of their biggest pastimes in Victorian era, where ghost stories and Christmas were very synonymous with each other.
Right.
That was a huge part of their tradition.
Yeah, of course, that became Charles Dickens' classic.
Yeah.
Which pretty much defined Christmas for the world.
Oh, God, yeah.
And I mean, there were so many different holidays. It wasn't celebrated like it is today. You had 12th night, 12 days of Christmas. You had Yule, of course, which is what I'll be celebrating.
Right.
And Christmas is more of an American holiday. After the colonial era, when America was founded, they were looking for cultural pastimes and creations of customs to give America an identity. So they sort of promoted Christmas.
Okay.
And it really started in America the way it is now. And of course, Santa Claus himself, based on Saint Nick, but its creation that we know today comes from Coca-Cola.
Okay, yeah.
And the calendars they did with the classic Santa Claus features, and of course the famous poem too.
Oh yeah,
"'Twas the Night Before Christmas."
They're all through the house.
Getting back to the horror side of it, there are a lot of horror legends that go with Christmas, and I did some research. And we're going to talk about a few of those for our avid listeners who are missing Halloween right now.
Right.
And we're going to start in Germany with the Bellschnickel. Bellschnickel. That's just a great name, Bellschnickel.
That's great, Bellschnickel.
I need a dog named Bellschnickel. I am the Bellschnickel. But he's really creepy, and he wears patchworked rags to hide his identity, like he's a secret identity.
Right.
He also wears furs, and he carries a switch, a thing of twigs tied together to smack people with.
Oh,
and
wow.
he, like the Krampus, he uses them to threaten children. Like in the weeks leading up to Christmas, he stops by the doors of households where there are children, and he threatens the ones who've been behaving poorly. And says, "This is the last year. I am the Bellschnickel. This is the last year. If you don't straighten up, you'll not only get no presents, but you're going to get a beating from the Bellschnickel." Now, we apologize for our pronunciations.
Because we're not quite sure how some of these are pronounced, but it's okay though, right?
Yeah.
The Bellschnickel, huh?
The Bellschnickel.
Wow. And then there's the Jollicatorian.
Nice job.
It's a Christmas cat.
Oh.
An Icelandic Christmas cat.
Wow.
Yeah, and it dates all the way back to the 19th century.
Okay.
And this is a crazy legend. It's a huge cat that roams the streets, around the holidays, and preys on anyone who doesn't wear new clothes.
Oh.
If you're not wearing new clothes, it kind of focuses on you.
Yeah.
So anyone roaming around that's unable to buy any kind of new clothes, the cat just eats them.
Oh.
Yeah. The old cat will eat them. It was a legend that was created to make people work a little harder around this time of year, around the holidays.
Here's a controversial one, and I've heard of this. I had friends who lived in the Netherlands, and they told me about this, and they tried to change this. I'm not going to go into it too much. Zwarte Piet.
Okay.
And there's a lot of racial connotation to this. He's known as Black Peter. He gives sweets and presents to the good little boys and girls. He's a companion of Sinterklaas, St. Nicholas.
Okay.
Now, I've heard of this. Basically, he's wearing blackface. He was supposed to be in the back of a coal ship.
Okay.
So he's covered in coal dust.
Gotcha.
But the way he's depicted looks blackface.
Right.
And so there's a lot of racial upset over this.
I can see that, yeah.
And so there's been a lot of people upset over this, and now they say it's because he's covered in coal. In fact, in recent times, they have downplayed his racist background by painting him different colors, but then there are the Zwarte Piet purists who are also against that. And they actually think that his history he probably came as a Moor and as a companion to St. Nicholas. But he's not a bad guy. He's a good guy. He gives out candy and stuff, and he's best friend to Santa.
Oh. You ever hear of the gorilla?
No, I've not heard of the gorilla. Gorilla.
It's probably the creepiest of all these kind of Christmas legends. It's a mountain giantess troll.
Oh.
Yeah. And it originates in, it's an Icelandic folklore tale. She travels from mountains in search of naughty children all around the area. And, hey, she abducts them and she eats them.
Like the cat.
Yeah. She abducts them and eats them.
I'll tell you, be wearing your new clothes and don't be naughty.
That's right.
Because there's a troll with a giant cat who's going to come eat you.
Yeah. And, in Iceland, this time of year, all the kids are on the best behavior.
Naturally.
Yeah.
Because they're going to get eaten by gorilla.
They're afraid they're going to get eaten.
The troll. This is cool. I love this. The gorilla the mountain troll. It's like roll initiative.
Right.
Get attacked. Use your fireball.
Yep.
So moving on.
It's like a D&D character.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh God, I got to write a D&D adventure for the 23rd we're going to play. I'm going to do a Christmas myth. I'm going to use her. She can be the villain.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, that's awesome because I love trolls. Now, over in Portugal, it's called the Consoda, and this is a lot like the Day of the Dead in Mexico.
Okay.
And you wake up early on Christmas morning, and you have this huge feast.
Okay.
Known as the Consoda.
Right.
And it's supposed to honor all the dead relatives that you've lost and celebrate your ancestors. They set out extra plates, and they leave crumbs on the plate for your dead relatives.
There's another one called the Yule lads.
Okay.
And the sons of Gryla.
Okay.
And that's who they
troll.
are. Yeah.
Lepalua.
Lepalua. And her troll husband. Now these Yule lads, they'll come in, they went around town in a backwards 12 days of Christmas sort of thing.
Okay.
And they show up one at a time on the 13 days.
Building up to Christmas, right?
Building up to Christmas Day. Each one of them, they stay 2 weeks.
Okay.
Okay, that's it. Maybe that's too long, but who knows? So the first lad usually arrives on December 12th.
Okay.
And is the first to depart actually on Christmas Day. So the remaining brothers, then they just leave by one by one.
And the order they came?
The same order they arrive until the festivities are all completely finished.
On the January 6th, right?
And that's on they're pretty much all out of there by January 6th. Till another year.
Okay.
Now, I don't know what... they don't seem very evil or malicious. I don't know what their purpose is.
They're not eating kids.
They're not eating kids. They're not doing anything really crazy, but modern versions of the story, they're mostly just mischievous creatures.
Okay.
That just do little harmless pranks, slamming doors, eating the town's yogurt supply.
Yeah, right. Good.
Yeah.
Get rid of the yogurt.
Exactly. Get rid of the... Yeah. I would be... Personally, I would be upset because I like yogurt.
Yeah.
I keep it in the fridge, so...
Good man.
Yeah. In the original stories, these lads were a little more sinister than they are now. As in the modern story, they come down from dwellings in the mountains. And the days leading up to Christmas Day, however, they are pulling these regular pranks or tricks, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
Along with the Yuletide cat.
Oh, the cat's back.
The cat's back. Yeah. I like that cat.
Joe like Doran, yeah.
And they're watching the children and kidnapping those who don't receive any new clothes.
Damn it.
Again.
Jeez.
Yeah, during the season, so they can be eaten.
Okay, I want new socks this Christmas.
So, yeah, I just bought new socks, so
good.
I think I'm good there. That's pretty disturbing.
Well, there's Frau Perchta. She's a scary old lady, and she roams the countryside during winter, probably based on the crone myth, the myth of the old lady, especially around the winter time.
The crone, yeah.
The crone, and she enters homes, like, between Christmas and the Epiphany. This is in Bavarian and Austrian folklore. And if the kids and servants have been nice, she gives them a silver coin.
Oh.
Which I think is very nice.
That is very nice. Very nice.
If they hadn't been, oh my God, she cuts open their abdomen, takes out their organs, and replaces them with straw?
Wow.
What the hell is wrong with Bavaria and Austria? Oh my God. This is the stuff we're telling to our 2-year-old. If you're good, you get a silver coin. If you're bad, we're going to cut out your heart and fill it with straw.
Oh, man.
What the hell?
Good
Christmas
Lord.
is supposed to be fun and happy, not straw and surgery.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. It sounds like a demented scarecrow almost.
Yeah, I got great material for the next D&D game though.
No, yes, you do. Right? Yeah. Then there's the Perchton.
Okay,
it's a dual gender spirit.
Okay,
comes out during the 12 days of Christmas.
Okay,
so that's between December 25th and January 5th.
Yeah.
Okay, we have the female Perchton.
Beautiful Perchton.
And on the other we have the male and Shira Perchton, ugly Perchton.
Okay,
former is a giver of luck and gifts. Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that. Yeah, who doesn't like? Well, the other is the most ugly of the Shira Perchton, and as can be expected, as you might already expect, gives treats to the good people of the world, while the Shira Perchton punishes the bad.
Good. That's what this is all about, morality.
Right, exactly. So, yes, it is.
I like the Perchton. It's interesting that she here is dual nature. Now, it has nothing to do with modern gendered politics. It has everything to do with the idea of the male and female aspect of the spirit.
Right.
We're going back to folklore and legends and pagan belief here. Now, we have, Pierre Fotard. Pierre Fotard, he'd accompany St. Nicholas. This is from France and southern Belgium. I hope they're not as creepy as Austria and Bavaria.
Oh, yeah.
This is awful. Oh my God, I got all the bad ones here. He was a butcher, Pierre. And he came across 3 rich kids.
Okay.
Who were off the way to boarding school to their privileged lives. So he captures them, he robs them, and then he kills them.
Oh my God.
He chops up their bodies, and he keeps the pieces in a barrel. And then St. Nicholas finds out, and he punishes Pierre to spend the rest of his days following after Santa Claus.
Goodness.
That's it.
Gracious.
Jeez. It's just serial killers and... Good gods. What is wrong with people?
He's not a very nice guy.
No.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Don't eat rich kids.
No, right? I never really associated this with Christmas.
This is interesting. I found this, yeah.
Yeah, but werewolves.
Yeah, right.
According to the World Encyclopedia of Christmas, Olaus Magnus,
okay,
a Swedish folklorist,
yeah,
with the werewolves. They gather on Christmas night, and they rage with wondrous ferocity against human beings.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah. And I've never heard of this, but this is interesting. They attacks their homes,
okay,
and they devour any inhabitants. Yeah, it's in Prussia, Livonia, and Lithuania where these legends come from.
Okay, yeah, right.
I mean, the Christmas werewolf connection doesn't stop there.
Okay,
having the audacity to be born. If you were born on Christmas Day, basically it's enough to make a person a werewolf as well.
You turn to a werewolf.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll basically become a werewolf or turn into one at some point.
Okay.
And did you ever see the 1961 film, The Curse of the Werewolf?
No, but I bet Bill has.
Okay, yeah. I actually have seen it once.
Have you
it's
really?
Pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah. And it explains it in this, that being born on December 25th is mocking Jesus Christ. So that's kind of what the issue here is.
Okay.
And so anyone that has been born must be punished. Jesus bringing the Christmas cheer by punishing not just a fetus for having the nerve to be born on his day, but also chastising anyone who fell into his or her wake every year.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. That's oh wow, okay, so you turn into a werewolf. Yeah. It's not really your fault.
No. You can't.
I mean, you can't really. You're not aiming.
No. When you're being born, you can't pick what day.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it would be kind of cool to be a werewolf. But Bill likes that one.
Bill likes that, yeah.
So, La Befana. We go to Italy now.
Okay.
She was a Christmas witch.
Right.
Wasn't scary. But it's kind of bizarre. Again, the crone figure. An old woman, she flies on broomsticks, has a huge bag, and she visits children on Epiphany Eve. Again, a litmus test, naughty or nice.
Right.
And if they've been nice, she gives them gifts and candy. If they've been bad, she leaves them a lump of coal.
Oh.
So not so bad.
No, that's not too bad.
La Befana.
That could be La Befana, yeah.
La Befana.
That could be worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not quite as bad as
Italy's a little more even tempered.
Some of the other ones,
Austria and the whole organ thing, and
they're not. Yeah, this one is not cutting out. La Befana is not cutting out organs. Now this next one's pretty interesting.
Okay,
I kind of like it. The Calicanzoros.
Calicanzoros.
It's a not just a goblin, but a malevolent goblin in southeastern folklore.
Okay,
the Calicanzoros lives underground, but comes out around Christmas time and Epiphany, to play pranks on people.
Okay.
And just generally give them a hard time, give them a little bit of a scare.
Okay. So we're finishing off. We've gone across Europe in our exploration of Yule and Midwinter and Christmas and the Epiphany. And we're going to end with Mary Lloyd. And that's Welsh. I speak Welsh, actually. I actually speak Scots Gaelic mostly, but I can pronounce Welsh. Basically, groups of men go around door to door, and they're carrying a horse prop. It's made of a horse skull on a stick.
Ooh.
They demand entry to the house in a song, "Give us entry, we have a horse prop. We're not going to cut your organs out, but we're pretty naughty." That's the song. I just made that up. Now, if the homeowners would deny entrance to them with a song, "You're not coming in and get my organs. I've seen the Christmas cat and don't have new clothes."
Yeah, Christmas cat don't have no clothes.
Now, they would go back and forth from the houses, singing back and forth with this horse head. You know, kind of like very Godfather-like.
Right.
You know,
oh, yeah.
You know, Malt's waking up in bed with the cartoon. There's one for Bill.
Yeah.
Waking up, And if the homeowner finally gives up because he's tired of the song, the group of men would get into the house, and he would give them food and drink, and they would cause chaos in the house.
Well, okay.
You know, dirtying your new clothes so the Christmas cat comes and eats you.
Yeah.
What a lot of fun little myths there. Stuff I've learned today. I'm going to be passing along to my nephews and things. And
that's great. Is there a Christmas Fox that does anything like this?
Yeah, he does shows on...
Like Malcolm?
Malcolm's got his vodka hat.
He's got it, yeah. Oh, Svedka.
You know, we have a little Malcolm stocking. My friend Megan Baldwin got for us, and she got a stocking. Since she made a little one for Malcolm, I'll show him to you. Nice. And every year we wake up on Christmas morning, we find a little thing of Jack Daniels in there. Because Malcolm's a lush.
He likes his Jack.
He loves his Jack.
Yeah.
And you can see this vodka Christmas hat from, it used to be on a bottle of vodka, now he's wearing it. I'll put up a picture of that on the website at www.whatayouafraidofpodcast.com.
And it fits him well. It's a perfect fit.
But we are on Pararex Radio on Friday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can find us at www.whatayouafraidofpodcast.com. And we're available on all major podcast services.
Explore the darkness.
Find out what goes bump in the night. Did you hear that?
Did you see that? What's that bright light in the sky? Oh, we so need to investigate.
Calling all witches and sensitives.
Explore the paranormal.
With host
Shauna
and Vicky.
From Geeks Paranormal.
Wednesdays
at 9 Eastern.
8 Central.
Let's explore. On paraxradio.com.
Every year on Christmas night, I give my nuts a check. I handle them so carefully. This year I got quite a fright when I was mid-inspect. Oh, it upset me terribly. To my dismay, it seems something ain't right. It looks like someone's come and had a bite. I don't know what to do. I wish my nuts were left unchewed. I'm angry and confused. Who would do this? I don't think I would mind so much if they had asked me first. But I gave no such consent. They could have had a little touch, but this is so much worse. I've never been in such torment. Why couldn't they have left my nuts alone? Now they've been munched, all I can do is moan. I'll have to live without, but I would have loved to crack one out. Now I just want to shout. Who's been gobbling my nuts? Oh, who's been gobbling my nuts? Leave my nuts alone, leave my nuts alone. Oh, who's been gobbling my nuts? Who's been gobbling my nuts? Leave my nuts alone, leave my nuts alone. Oh, won't you leave my nuts in peace? Please leave my nuts in peace. Please don't leave my nuts in pieces. Won't you leave my nuts in peace? Please leave my nuts in peace. Please don't leave my nuts in pieces. Who's been gobbling my nuts? Oh, who's been gobbling my nuts? Leave my nuts alone, leave my nuts alone. Oh, who's been gobbling my nuts? Oh, who's been gobbling my nuts? Leave my nuts alone, leave my nuts alone. Oh, who's been gobbling my nuts? Oh, who's been gobbling my nuts? Leave my nuts alone, leave my nuts alone. Oh, who's been gobbling my nuts? Oh, who's been gobbling my nuts? Leave my nuts alone, leave my nuts alone. Won't you leave my nuts in peace? Please leave my nuts in peace. Please don't leave my nuts in pieces. Won't you leave my nuts in peace? Please leave my nuts in peace. Please don't leave my nuts in pieces. Leave my nuts alone.
Leave My Nuts Alone by Simon Panrucker.
Grey Matter Press presents a 21st Century Gothic from John C. Foster, the author of Mr. White. The Isle. There's a secret at the edge of the world. When a deadly menace threatens a remote island community, United States Marshal Virgil Bone digs into the island's macabre past. But some secrets should never be uncovered. Some curses should be believed. And some people will kill to keep it so. The Isle is available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and other fine retailers.
All right, here we go. Quiet! Roll up!
Hello everyone, I'm Andrew Willis, the host of Movies Now and Then. We're a podcast that looks at one new release film in theaters, then we compare and contrast it with a classic or underappreciated film from cinema history. We're not a traditional movie show in that we try to have a more conversational approach to our discussion. We want our listeners to be informed, engaged, and hopefully even entertained. If this sounds like something you might enjoy, give us a listen. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, or anywhere podcasts are found by searching Movies Now and Then.
It's been a cool show, episode 104, Holiday Horror Noir. I'm so glad I'm able to do it.
Yeah.
Because we had to cut out for a little bit. I thought I was going to be back in the hospital. There's still a chance the pneumonia could come back. The problem is, it's like I have radiated lungs, and there's scar tissue. Plus, I have a compromised immune system as a lymphoma patient. So when they took the X-ray, I looked at the doctor and I said, "Don't tell me. It's here and here, isn't it?" And he nodded, because it's right in the scar tissue.
Jeez.
Which is something they've always warned me about, so I got to be real careful here. Right. So if we don't do as many shows over the winter, this is why.
Right.
We've got some great stuff coming up.
You were pretty incapacitated. Remember, I was messaging you.
Yeah.
There was a little chunk of time there where I wasn't really.
I was gone.
You were just off the grid.
I couldn't even lift my head up.
Yeah.
I was basically. I went radio silence for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And I was in the hospital.
Yeah.
No, but I was able to decorate. I like to keep things wintry, and it's like I tell people, you don't need to give in to the commercialism. You don't need to decorate with all this sort of fake plastic. There was a time before all the religions adopted. We're in this time where it's the darkest, it's the coldest, it's the rawest, and we need a little light. So instead of finding it in nature, we make it ourselves.
Right.
And that's what this is all about.
That's right.
Winter depression. It's about giving us some motivation. It's about finding warmth and laughter at the darkest, deadest time of the year.
Right.
That's what midwinter's about. That's what the solstice is about.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And as I often say, we are halfway out of the dark.
Yeah. Yeah, that's coming up.
Are you going to watch Gremlins?
I actually saw Gremlins in the theater.
Did you?
A couple of
over in Ambler?
It was Ambler
Theater. They show the...
It was last week. Sorry.
Okay.
It was last Thursday.
Yeah.
They did it. I just happened to look on their website and I saw the 7:30 screening last Thursday, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
We went over to.
So I walked down. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Of all the things, it was Gremlins, and I was like, I was like, I haven't seen this thing in the theater. I saw it as a kid in the theater, actually. That's the last time I saw it in the theater.
Wow.
So it was really great seeing it again.
And Mystery Science Theater 3000, Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. Have you seen that one?
I have not.
Oh, that's amazing.
I have not seen that.
And of course, all the Doctor Who Christmas that they did. Okay. I've been watching that. And we got a lady doctor now. It's been a fun episode 104, Holiday Horror Noir. We are going to end with a noir story that author Andrew Rausch did for us, called Santa's Little Helper. It's a fun story about a burglar. This is terrible. It's dark, okay? And a little kid who thinks he's Santa. It's terrible. It's going to kick you in the butt. I mean, it's almost as bad as that Christmas cat and the butcher who eats the rich kids. This is Andrew Rausch. We are going to be in a wonderful anthology together, and I'll be interviewing the many authors from that anthology, coming up and playing different pieces of their fiction. We've got some wonderful noir stuff coming up over the next 2 months. Sort of do Noir Winter, and we've been talking to Marina Anderson again. We've got some psychics coming back on that want to come join us, and we got a lot of cool stuff coming up in the winter. Cool. And David Walton, our wonderful David Walton, reads this. He's been recording stuff for me constantly, nonstop, just getting through tons of ghost stories. We've got some great ghost stories coming up.
That's wonderful.
Well, Phil, I'm excited. I guess I'll see you next week before we do episode 105. Hopefully Montana Jordan will be on. We'll get the Krampus on.
Yeah.
And we'll be back then.
The Krampus is not easy to get.
No, he's tough.
He's tough to book. He's tough. He's so busy this time of year, but I think we can do it.
He'll come in, sit down, throw me in a sack, and beat me up for a while.
That's right.
And then Montana yells at him. They're married.
Yeah, exactly.
They've been having marital problems.
That's what I've heard.
Mm-hmm.
We orchestrated their wedding.
Yeah, we did.
We did, right?
They met. They got married on the show.
Yeah.
Kind of like Tiny Tim and Mrs. Ann on the Johnny Carson show.
Carson.
Krampus and Montana Jordan get married
on our show. Yeah.
69.
I heard there's trouble in paradise, but
so we'll see what happens.
We'll have to see. Yeah, and like you said, he comes and he puts you in a bag and he beats you up.
Yeah,
as he does every year.
A happy solstice coming up. Happy Hanukkah to everybody who just celebrated. Last day of Hanukkah was the other day.
Yep.
And we're on Parax Radio on Friday nights at 9 p.m. Find us at the website at www.whatareyouafraidofpodcast.com. Now, this is Santa's Little Helper from wonderful author Andy Rausch. I'm P. Fox Dunham.
And I'm Phil Thomas.
And I'm the Krampus.
He's here!
Oh, he's here!
Krampus, he's gonna put me in the... Oh, I'm in the back, David.
You're in the back.
Ow! Watch the butt. Ow! Dude, that felt nice.
Where's Montana Jordan?
Santa's Little Helper, a noir holiday story by Andy Rausch and read by David Walton. This was Carl's third house of the night, and he still had 2 more he wanted to hit before morning. As he'd gotten older, he'd become a much better robber, but the downside was that he'd come to loathe his work with a fiery passion. Maybe it was the 2 falls he'd already taken for B and E. Or maybe it was because he felt like the last of the Mohicans, now that all his old road dogs were behind bars. But mostly, Carl believed it was just a part of his getting older. Even as he'd become wiser and had learned to take less chances, he still had to take some. Chances came part and parcel with this line of work, and topping it off, Carl's body was showing signs of fatigue. He became tired much more quickly these days, and the treasures he'd carried out of the house were getting heavier and heavier. Carl hadn't wanted to go out robbing tonight, but he had no choice. He'd been dating Porcupine Tina for a couple of weeks now, but she refused to put out. She said she'd only screw him if he agreed to take her to this new highfalutin expensive-ass restaurant in Manhattan. She'd read about it in the Times, and had told him it was all the rage. Movie stars go there, she said. There was a picture of Nicole Kidman eating there. She thought going there might somehow give her class, but Carl doubted it, just as he doubted that all the women in the place combined had seen as many dicks as Tina had. When Carl was growing up, his dad had a saying about girls like her. If she had as many dicks sticking out of her as she'd had stuck in her, she'd be a porcupine, hence the name Porcupine Tina. Carl was in the dark house, shining his flashlight down on a laptop. It was an older model, probably 5 or 6 years old. That wasn't old for most things. Carl had underwear that were older by a mile. But it was literally a lifetime for a laptop. Fuck it, he muttered, sticking the laptop in his bag. He turned around and was shocked to find himself face to face with a little boy. "Who are you?" asked the boy, squinting into the light. "Are you Santa Claus?" Seeing his way out, Carl jumped on this. "Yeah, I am," he said. "I'm Santa Claus." The boy tilted his head. He looked unsure, like he was trying to work out a mathematical equation in his head. "Are you sure?" "What? You don't think I know who I am?" "Why are you here?" Carl paused. "Well, I'm here, doing Santa stuff." "But Christmas is 18 days away," said the boy. 18 days, huh? "Yeah, I count them off every day. I got a Santa Claus face calendar with cotton balls on his beard over each day. I remove a piece of cotton every morning until Christmas, and right now there are 18 cotton balls left." Carl nodded. "That's a good system." "But my daddy told me you didn't exist," said the boy. "He did?" "He sure did, but I knew he was wrong. I knew it." "Why do you think he did that?" The boy scrunched up his face, looked perplexed. "I don't know." "Well, I know," said Carl. "You do?" "He did it because he was naughty." The boy's eyes got big. "Daddy's naughty?" "He lied about me not being real. You know what that is? Naughty with a capital N." "Maybe he just didn't know," offered the boy. "No, he knew. He just did that to be naughty. He was lying to you, trying to hurt your feelings. So that's why I'm here. Normally, I only come to houses and leave presents on Christmas, but this is something different. This is a special occasion. Your daddy's been naughty, so I had to come to teach him a lesson." "Good," said the boy. "Daddy needs to be good and stop lying. It was shitty that he did that." The little boy looked at him. "Can I say that? Shitty, I mean?" "Don't worry about it," said Carl. "It'll be our secret." The boy's eyes dropped to the bag in Carl's hand. Next, his eyes moved to the spot where the laptop had been. Then he looked at Carl. "You looking for the laptop?" asked Carl. "Yeah. Where is it?" "I got to take it for a while to teach Daddy a lesson." The kid's face brightened. "But the laptop's Mummy's." "Oh," said Carl. "Well, she let him lie, so she's in trouble too. I'm going to take some of their stuff for a few weeks. Then I'll bring it back on Christmas after they've learned their lesson." "That's a good idea." "What's your name, kid?" This confused the boy. "Don't you know?" Carl knew he'd said the wrong thing. "I'm not going to lie to you, kid. It's hard to keep everybody's name straight. Sometimes I forget." The boy nodded. "I forget stuff too. I got an aunt that's got a big mustache like a cowboy. Sometimes I forget her name. My sister Tammy and me call her Chewbacca. So then when I see her, I want to call her Chewbacca. But I know that's not the right name." "What is her name?" asked Carl. "I still don't know." "Fuck it," said Carl. "Call that bitch Chewbacca." The boy started to laugh and then caught himself. He looked at Carl. "You said a bad word." "Actually, I said two." "So, what was your name?" "Billy," said the boy. "Oh, now I remember," said Carl. "Well, I got to get back to work. I've got other houses I got to go to tonight." Carl turned to take a second look at the TV he'd passed in the dark living room. It was a decent set, probably middle of the pack in terms of price and quality, but he wasn't sure he could get it out of the house without making a lot of noise. "If you really want to teach my daddy a lesson, you should take his baseball card collection," said Billy. This caught Carl's attention, and he turned back to Billy, shining the flashlight on him. "Your daddy collects baseball cards?" "Oh yeah, it's his favourite thing in the world. He's always bragging about how much they're worth. He says the Hank Aaron card he bought this summer cost about the same as a ski boat." Carl's eyes got big. "Really?" "Yeah," said Billy. "And he's got a whole bunch of Mickey Mantle cards too. Mickey's his favourite player, even though he retired before Daddy was even born." "He's got a bunch of Mickey Mantle cards?" "He's probably got about 20, all expensive and locked in a glass case in the study. Well, most of them anyway." Carl felt his heart drop. "They're locked away?" "Yeah," said Billy, "but I know where the key is." "Lead the way, kid." As they walked through the house, Billy turned and asked, "Do you need another bag? I can get a trash bag. There's a whole bunch of cards. Daddy says there's probably enough to pay my way through college." Carl said, "Sure, I'll take a trash bag." Billy went into the kitchen and switched on the light. He grabbed a trash bag from beneath the sink and then turned and led Carl to the study. There was a big glass case full of cards along the wall. Carl could have broken the glass easy, but it would have made a hell of a racket. Billy walked across the room and grabbed the key out of a desk drawer. He unlocked the case, and the two of them cleaned it out, putting all the cards in the trash bag. When they were done, Billy asked, "Do you think that's enough to teach Daddy a lesson, or do you need more stuff?" "I should probably go, kid." Billy nodded. "Are you sure?" Carl almost laughed. "I think we're good." He started towards the door when he heard Billy ask, "What about the safe?" Carl stopped and turned around. "What safe?" "Daddy's got a safe in the study." "What's in it?" "Stacks of money and some papers." He looked at Carl for a moment, still thinking, and then said, "Oh, I forgot. And Daddy's favourite thing." "What is it?" "Daddy's got a baseball card he spent $60,000 on. It's a Mickey Mantle rookie card. Daddy says it's mint." Billy stopped for a minute, his face twisting into a confused expression. "If it's mint, does that mean I can eat it?" "No," said Carl. "It's a different kind of mint." He paused for a beat before saying, "Let's go to the safe. I really need to get going." Billy led him back to the study. They walked past the empty card case, and Billy approached a framed painting of Babe Ruth, pointing towards the outfield. "It's behind there," said Billy. Carl approached the painting, sitting down his bags. He pulled back the picture, finding that it was on hinges. When he did, he saw the face of a grey safe staring out at him. He looked at Billy. "Do you know the combination?" "Yeah, it's my birthday." "When's that?" Billy studied him. "Don't you know?" Carl sighed. "I forget stuff. Cut me some slack, kid." "My birthday is May 4th, 2010. Carl turned back to the safe, twisting the knob to 5, then 4, and then 10. He turned the handle and he heard the bolt unlock. He opened the safe and saw 2 fat stacks of hundreds, which would be more than enough to take Porcupine Tina to that rich la-di-da burger joint. He pulled out the cash and tossed the stacks into the bag. Peering into the safe, he moved a stack of documents and found the Mickey Mantle card lying there, inside a hard plastic sleeve. He pulled it out and stared at it for a moment, admiring it. "She's a beaut," he said, sticking it in his back pocket. He picked up the bags and looked at Billy. "I gotta go, kid. Santa's got shit to do." Carl walked out of the study and through the dark living room, moving towards the door. When he reached it, he realized Billy was standing behind him. Carl turned and looked at the kid, slightly illuminated by the light from the kitchen. Carl turned back towards the door, pulling it open. He opened the storm door and stepped out into the cold night. "Goodbye, Santa." And for a moment Carl felt bad about all this. He stopped and turned towards Billy. "I got something for you, kid." He reached into the bag and pulled $300 bills out, handing them to Billy. "Go get yourself some candy," he said. Billy's eyes were as big as silver dollars. "But whatever you do, don't tell your mummy and daddy about this. No matter what happens, this is our secret, and the money is yours. Deal?" Billy looked at him, smiling big, a gleam in his eye. "You bet, Santa." Carl turned and walked towards the stolen Chevy pickup parked at the curb. Billy watched him climb into the truck, hoping he'd look back so they could wave at one another. But he didn't. But Billy didn't care, because he knew he'd definitely be on the nice list now. He'd helped Santa, which was a thing none of the other kids at school had done, and this made him special. Billy smiled. Closing the door, he looked down at the bills in his hand. "Thank you, Santa," he whispered. And he went to bed, dreaming sweet, innocent dreams about he and his new friend, Santa Claus. More about the author. Andrew J. Rausch is a film critic, author and celebrity interviewer, as well as film producer, screenwriter and actor. He has written or co-written more than 20 books on the subject of popular culture, including Turning Points in Film History, Making Movies with Orson Welles, with Gary Graver, and the films of Martin Scorsese and Robert De Niro. He is the author of the novels Mad World and Elvis Presley, CIA Assassin, as well as a regular contributor to Scream and Shock cinema magazines. Hi, I'm David Walton, and I drop whatever I'm doing to read whatever Fox and Phil demand of me. My digital, as opposed to ectoplasmic alter ego, is called Brendan Shawland, who regularly plays guitar and sings in a virtual world. Brendan has a website, David doesn't. Bandcamp sales figures would suggest that Brendan's music is decidedly niche. If you want to be in the vanguard of support as Brendan heads towards global domination, just put Brendan Shawland in your favourite search engine, and you'll find his website very close to the top. You'll see what the human looks like, and you can check out the Listen to a Song page to access Brendan's unwillingly private world of creative output.
It's the same each year. We get lost in a rush around shops when we want to be sincere to those we hold so dear. Empty bank accounts, a mad dash to spend our cash on this junk in huge amounts, when it's the thought that counts. And while it's a lovely gesture, I don't feel the need to test your love on token gifts to me. I've already got more than I could need. It's another pair of socks, a DVD that I won't watch. I don't care for stacks of stuff, the fact you're there's enough. Checkout queues, gift ideas pumped in our ears, but it's all too naff to choose. I think we've got confused. Jumpers that don't fit, boring books that won't get a look, ornaments and cheap trinkets, but I want none of it. And I know it sounds ungrateful, but these words are far from hateful. It's just that all these novelties couldn't mean as much as you mean to me. It's another pair of socks, a DVD that I won't watch. I don't care for stacks of stuff, the fact you're there's enough. Oh, I know it sounds ungrateful, but these words are far from hateful. It's just that all these novelties couldn't mean as much as you mean to me. It's another pair of socks, a DVD that I won't watch. I don't care for stacks of stuff, the fact you're there's enough. Yeah, your very presence is a present enough.
Simon Panrucker lives in Bristol in the United Kingdom. He works as a composer for cartoon shows. You can find out more about him at his website, simonpanrucker.com. And check out Simon's new comedy podcast, Past Present Future Funcast, a comedy time travel show in which two friends, Tom and Simon, discover a time telephone in a charity shop that allows them to call each other in the future and past, all while skillfully avoiding paradoxes. Ha! You can find Past Present Future Funcast at cosmicgruff.com / all one word, Past Present Future Funcast. Go to our website at www.whatayouafraidofpodcast.com for more information about Simon and a link to his music and podcast. Thank you, Simon. Give us entry, we have a horse prop. We're not going to cut your organs out, but we're pretty naughty. T. Fox Dunham lives in Philadelphia with his wife Allison. He's a lymphoma survivor, cancer patient, modern bard, and historian. His first book, The Street Martyr, was published by Gutter Books. A major motion picture based on the book is being produced by Throughline Films. Destroying the Tangible Illusion of Reality or Searching for Andy Kaufman, a book about what it's like to be dying of cancer, was recently released from Perpetual Motion Machine Publishing, and Fox has a story in the next Stargate anthology from MGM and Fandemonium Books, Points of Origin. Fox is an active member of the Horror Writers Association, and he's had published hundreds of short stories and articles. His motto is Wrecking Civilization, one story at a time.
Phil Thomas is an author and screenwriter from the suburbs of Philadelphia. His screenplays have been produced into feature films False Face and Always from Darkness, and are available in major retailers such as Best Buy and Target, as well as availability on Netflix and Amazon On Demand. His short films can be viewed on his YouTube channel, Film Zero Presents. He is a member of the International Association of Professional Writers and Editors, and he currently writes for Cultured Vultures, Game Skinny, and BloodyDisgusting.com. His first novel, The Poe Predicament, is being published in 2018 by Caliburn Press.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of Para X, its affiliates, or its sponsors.